Hey, a lot coming out right now about the demeanor of the team with Matt Ryan leading it. About how, practices have been quicker. And for those that don't know, that means there isn't as many repeats or fuck ups or realigns. It means things have been kind of a bit more sharp and crisp with Matt Ryan. Is that an accurate assessment from outside looking in? And what has it meant to you and the team that you've built bringing in this guy who Jim Irsay said, a Navy SEAL, an astronaut, has joined us? Have you felt that thus far from Matty Ice?
There's definitely a sense of urgency, with Matt. You felt the same thing when Philip was in here, where mistakes are not, you're not going to walk by. He's not going to walk by a mistake. He's going he has a way he wants things done, and he's gonna make sure that the guys know it. And when you're playing that position, it's critical that you get that leadership. So it's been fun to be around. Look, I mean, as hard as and Matt's, he's demanding, but he also enjoys it, and he brings a lot of joy, just playing the game, which is fun to watch.
You mentioned sense of urgency that he brings. That's something that I feel like you can't really coach into somebody. Do you look at that when you're talking to potential people you may draft or bringing into the team?
Yeah, I mean, look, you want guys that want to win, and you take it for, like, I think when you're young in this league, you think it's going to last forever, and the opportunities to win, it's hard. I mean, like, it's hard to win one freaking game in this league, and I mean, I think sometimes that gets washed over, and when you're young, you think it's going to last forever, and now we're dealing with Matt, who's been in the league for 14 years, who's been to a Super Bowl and knows how hard it is to win, and the urgency you have to have on a daily basis to get yourself ready for the season to win. It has to be there, and you can't miss those opportunities when they happen. We missed it last year. I mean, we missed it, and we had an opportunity, and we jacked it up, and here we are again. And I feel a team that it's not just Matt. There's a lot of guys with a sense of urgency.
Yeah, let's start talking about some of the pillars of that team because, Shaquille Leonard is an absolute stud. He's an defensive MVP candidate in most years whenever he's playing. He's a guy, and he came on and talked about Eberflus's led defense, about accountability and set the tone, and we're going to work. Eberflus is gone, but now it sounds like the offense has a similar person in Matt Ryan. How have the teams been getting along offensive, defensive-wise? How has Frank been managing it all? And what do you think about the OGs of your team now? It seems like just yesterday they were young pups. Now they're grizzled veterans, Chris Ballard.
I know. I mean, that's the funny thing. And the grizzled veterans that are 25 and 26 years old, I mean, we were so young in 18. I look back on it, how young this team is, and we're still pretty, I mean, in general terms, we're still pretty young. But these guys have been through it. I mean, they've been to like those guys that have been here in 18 and 19 and 20, they've been to the playoffs. They've won a playoff game. They've been disappointed.
Yeah.
So there's this great sense of urgency for that. And Frank handles, like, it gets a little chippy. I mean, it's training camp. I mean, when you're competing against each other, trying to make each other better, it's going to get a little chippy. But like, Frank does a good job with our team. Like, you also got to be disciplined. You got to have some damn self-control, and let's don't distract practice by being stupid.
Chris, is Jonathan Taylor going to rush for about 2,500 yards this year? We sure hope to watch.
He pretty good.
He is. Hey, what was that story out of draft day? Didn't Jim Irsay tell you, don't you like him? Don't you like him? Go get him. And thank God you did. I mean, this guy, workhorse and loved. He comes out last out of the tunnel. I seen it.
Well, the best, I'll never forget what we did. Because remember, that was during COVID. So I'm at home and we're all on this Zoom call. And we had been talking about Jonathan Taylor for a year. And I remember Jim just out of the blue, he ain't said a word. And out of the blue, he just, hey, Chris, don't you like this guy? Don't you think you should get him? I was like, okay, it's all I need to know. Let's move up.
How many yards do you think he's going to get? What's a successful year? Are you even thinking about that? Are you tracking that? What's the conversation with Jonathan Taylor? Just get better from last year?
Yeah, I mean, look, we got to do whatever it takes offensively to win and score points. So, And that's the great thing about Jonathan.
Oh yeah.
If Jonathan has 10 carries in a game and we win, you're not going to hear anything out of him. That's what makes him really special. If we ask him to carry it 30 times, he'll carry it 30 times. So I think Frank will do, and the offensive staff do whatever it takes to win.
Wide receiver group. Talk to me about it. Hey, because I've talked about it. I believe Pittman Jr. We got to see it live.
Oh, yeah.
He's explosive. He runs great routes. I think he's always on time. I think he will get along with his quarterback. Not as proven as maybe some others that are available. He's out there. T.Y. Hilton, obviously was on the team last year. OG of the room, not this year. Reggie Wayne is the wide receiver coach. So you got an OG in the room there. You draft Alec. How do you feel about the wide receiver room, or is that still something you're looking at?
No, I mean, so far so good. I mean, Alec actually had a big day today. And Ashton Doolin, the last couple of days, has been outstanding. And so is Paris. And then we got some other guys. So, look, we'll always keep our eye, if we get a chance that we think we can get better. But we like the group we have. And then, the combination of that group plus, Naheem just gets overlooked, in who he is and what he can do and the mismatches he presents for the defense. So I know they'll be creative in getting him involved, and we really like our tight end group. We got two, really three young, talented players along with Mo Alley. So, we think at the end of the day, we're going to be pretty good offensively.
Hey, Alex a dog, huh?
He competes. He's not – like that's the one thing you look for in a rookie is how aggressive are they early. I'd rather have to hold them back. And – with him, he, from day one, he's been aggressive, and you like to see, and he's confident, and he's smart, and those traits usually, with his talent, those usually transfer to end up being a good player.
Your three young tight ends are huge, huh? Because Mo Alley Cox, big dude. He's been a favorite of every quarterback that you guys have had there because of how big he is, how athletic he is. You got two more young guys that are massive as well, right? Is that on purpose?
Well, I mean, you like them. I mean, those big targets. I mean, they're always open.
Hey, I've heard from camp, these are some big motherfuckers. They're like, hey, dogs. Tight ends are big dudes right now, like big guys, right? I mean, that had to be a plan.
Yeah, Jelani's a big athlete that can really run. And then Ogletree had a catch today, a one-hander over the middle. Like, you wouldn't – I mean, I better watch my language. You wouldn't believe – I mean, this kid is talented. So, no, it's a good group. And
what do you think he's going to do? Hold out and renegotiate with you if you compliment him right now? What were you going to say there? What were you even going to –
Well, I was going to drop an F-bomb, but Connie gets pissed off when I cuss.
Connie.
And so,
Fucking Connie.
like after every press conference, he'll go, well, Chris, you only had 2 curse words in that press conference. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I said, well, that's good. We're making progress.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you respecting Conti. He's a hard worker. But you got big bodies at that tight end position. And with, like, how much is Matt Ryan getting to say on how things are going? Does he want to say? Has it been like a natural reaction and natural relationship with him?
Well, to be honest with you, like before the draft, we gave him players to look at. I just said, hey, take a look at these guys. Tell me how we can use them. And, I mean, look, you're talking about a guy that's potential Hall of Famer that's been playing the game a long time. I mean, why wouldn't you use that resource? He knows he's running the show. Like at the end of the day, the players, players know. And quarterback that's doing it this long, he's got such a great feel for it. So there's no doubt we have discussions.